There's a lot of 9 to 5 W-2 folks that come in. They either are unemployed or they're looking for a job. They're like, I've had a really hard time getting a job. And of course, I'm like, hey, are you AI fluent? And they're like, no, duh, no one's hired. Get AI fluent, and I guarantee you will get a job.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Land Fan Show. I'm Kendall Lejeune, and our guest today is Callan Faulkner. Callan Faulkner is the world's #1 AI coach and founder of the Uncommon Business, who built a $4 million business in 18 months with just 4 AI-trained employees, working less than 40 hours per week. After shutting down her real estate and tech consulting businesses to pursue her obsession with AI, she developed systematic frameworks that eliminate the need for traditional hiring first scaling approaches. Over the last 12 months, she's helped over 1,000 business leaders implement AI to not only claim over 10 hours per week, but also restore the mental bandwidth and creative energy that gets consumed by repetitive tasks and decision fatigue. Callan's methodology blends practical frameworks with energetic alignment, proving that true success comes from strategic automation that preserves both time and mental capacity, not exhaustion. Callan, thanks so much for joining us. How are you today?
I am so good. So excited to be here, Kendall.
Ah,
It's gonna be fun.
so much fun.
What is
So
this? Round three? Maybe round
this,
four?
yeah, I think this could be like round four. I think it's round three or round four, one of those. Very popular download. You're a very popular guest on the show. And when we had this opportunity to chat AI and to talk about all the things, automation, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. So thank you for joining us.
You're so welcome. So jazzed.
Yeah, so what we're talking about today is a topic that I think some people know about, at least most people have heard, but very few people have actually really put rubber to road to figure it out in their business and implement in their business. And it is the one of my favorite words, the A word, which is automation. Can you talk to us a little bit about when you hear the word automation, what does that mean for you and how does that start your wheels turning from a business owner's perspective?
Okay, so automation has been around for quite a while. I think a lot of us are probably doing some sort of automation in our business. Automation is just a set of rules. It's instructions for technology. If this happens, do this. There's really no intelligence. There's no brain behind it. We've heard this. Well, I'm not even going to say the word yet because people are going to start freaking out. It rhymes with schmagent. There's no agentic feature to it where the technology is making a critical decision without human intervention. Automation is purely if the status of the deal is this, create this task. Pure, clean, and
Mhm.
simple. And what's really fun is AI is really just fancy automation. Like we are just moving up the track of what is possible for AI to do without human intervention, what's possible for technology to create, what decisions it can make. And I would think if we're thinking about like the business as a whole, automation is like the plumbing throughout the house and AI is a brain. So we can bring information into a brain, and bringing those two things together are very powerful and not technical skill sets. So that's something I really want to debunk today. I think a lot of people start hearing, I'm not technical, I don't know how to do this. This is not a technical skill set. This is purely a critical thinking communication skill set that I believe every business owner, whether you're a land investor, you are an HVAC owner, you are running a plumbing business, you're a real estate agent, you should be able to understand how automation and AI work together.
I love that. So if someone's listening to this and they're like, okay, aren't you talking about something like Zapier, for example? Like Zapier can trigger certain things. Like what's the difference between Zapier and using AI, for example?
Okay, so really great question. So for those of you that have not heard of Zapier, Zapier is it's the glue that holds all of your apps together. So I'm sure a lot of us have used Zapier for something. So maybe we have a Zap for, oh my God, I had 100 Zaps in my land business, but let's just say we have a Zap for you, the that we have a verbal acceptance on a land deal, and we change the status of the deal to create purchase agreement. That could trigger all of the fields in that record in Follow Up Boss to be sent over to PandaDoc, and it could create the first draft of the purchase agreement for you. That's amazing. If it happens, do this. Now, AI could sit in the middle of a Zap. It could be right in the middle. So let's say let's just say it's a little unstructured. All of the data inside of CRM is unstructured. Maybe we have the transcripts of the last 10 calls with the seller. Maybe we have the data from the download, but it's not in the right fields and it's all over the place. We couldn't just use Zapier because the data is unstructured and it's all over the place. AI can take messy, unstructured inputs, a call transcript, a weird seller email that came in, and it can make sense of it. It can summarize it, it can reason, it can generate, it can clean up, and it can adapt. So we could set up a Zap if the data was unstructured and we wanted to pull information from transcripts and emails, a lot, obviously, as long as this information is available inside of Zapier. We could say, hey, when the status changes to create purchase agreement, take all of the information that's ever been put on this deal record and go through and extract APN, seller first name. Go look in all the transcripts and see if there's a wife's name. Go look in everything and see if there's an address. Go look in everything and see the acreage size. Go look in it'd be a little too unstructured probably for a purchase agreement. You understand the concept here is that with AI, it can now clean everything up for you. It doesn't have to be perfect. And we can talk about more examples of this, but this is when things get really exciting, when we start to put AI and that trained brain in the middle of an automation.
I love that. I love that. Especially looking at AI as like a trained brain to help go through that material. So for people that are listening to this, majority, we have lane business owners listening to this. We have lots of different real estate investors, lots of different asset classes. What do you see as some of the biggest and most mind-blowing opportunities for those people to use AI and automation in their businesses?
Okay. So let's start with the absolute fundamentals. I believe it's not a nice to have anymore for every single person on your team to be AI fluent. AI fluent is the ability to look at your to-do list and know how to cut your to-do list in half, the time in half to complete your to-do list by using AI. Every single person on your team should know how to use ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity. They should know how to do prompting and they should know how to create custom AI projects. If you have no idea what any of that means, you are already behind the 8 ball. And I'm not saying this as a fear tactic. If you heard me talk about this a year ago, I would say, it's so nice to know all of this. This is now a baseline expectation. So let's talk about AI fluency. What does that even mean? AI fluency is the ability to know exactly what to say to AI or exactly what to build to get what you need done. So let's talk about in the land space. In the land space, what are some things that we waste time on? We waste so much time on seller texted in, they emailed in, they called in, and we sit here and your VAs say, hey, Callan, the seller just said this. What should I say back? And founder or land investor, there's probably a little ego boost there. You're like, oh, they're coming to me to get a question answered. Absolutely. Let me sit down and help you with this. No, you should have your team, and you should build this for your team if they don't know how to do it. You should have a central repository. You should have an AI project built that knows exactly how to communicate with seller leads. All they have to do is put in what the seller said, and it should generate a response based on your past responses, based on your training transcripts, based on if you're in Ajay Sharma's sales courses, you should be in his training. If you're not, you're missing out on tons of sales opportunities. You should have some of his frameworks and you should have the things that you paid him for his transcripts, you paid him for his work, you paid him for his coaching. If he's coached your team, that transcript should go in the back end of this project. We need to train this project up. Essentially, it thinks like the best acquisition sales coach in the world. Every time a call ends with a seller, that transcript should roll through this AI project and it should score the call. This is an automation plus AI. We are sitting here and we're like, let's spend Friday doing call reviews. What a waste of time when you could train AI to do that for you. So I think there is so much low-hanging fruit on the sales side of the business, also on the obviously acquisition side of the business, same on the sales side of the business. We should have AI reviewing these, not just building our property descriptions and building our plan, but AI should be coaching us like a Russian judge in the Cold War Olympics. That is not a joke. That is exactly what I tell AI to be. I want you to intensely review me right now. How do you think this property listing sounds? What would you change? I can handle the truth. You have to tell AI you can handle the truth. Again, this is being AI fluent. AI fluent is not just going in there and say, write me an email. AI fluent is understanding how to get the most out of AI in the littlest amount of time. And if you've never had any training on how to communicate with it, you have no idea how to communicate with it. That's how it works. They've never gotten trained. You have no idea. You're just grasping at straws and saying, oh, AI is lying to me. Oh, AI is writing in a cold tone. That is user error. So looking at the business, of course, sales, very low hanging fruit, marketing, very low hanging fruit. Let's talk a little bit about this idea of resourcefulness. A lot of people are getting into some of these hairy, heavy title deals where there's title issues, airship issues. One of the biggest things that I think real estate investors as a whole, land investors as a whole, there's a level up, there's a skill that people are going to have to level up into, and that's resourcefulness. As we're getting into more competition, tougher market, you have to be even more resourceful. And what happens now is we have folks working for us overseas, maybe English as a second language. They often struggle to know exactly what to do next, and they rely on that land investor so much for their next step. If you have an AI fluent virtual assistant, they will not rely on you as much for their next step because they have access to every single piece of information that's ever been put on the internet at their fingertips. Oh, they're having tough issues with a title deal. You should have pre-built an AI project that thinks exactly like you, or even better, you've spent time interviewing a title agent in your area. You've spent maybe a few hours paying them for their time, interviewing them. Where do you look for this? And how do you think about this? And hey, in Hernando County, I noticed some of these things. Where do you go for this? You interview them, you put that transcript on the back of an AI project. Suddenly you've given your VA a person to talk to, a place to go, a place to navigate to. We recently had a deal where there were 50 easements on this property dating back to 1960. And I'm like, give me an effing break. This property has been taking me years to get through. I'm like, this is unbelievable. I was on the airplane and I was flying out to do a keynote, an AI keynote in Idaho. I spent 2 hours on the plane inside of Grok. So Grok is Grok. It's Elon software. And I was in Grok because Grok has a real-time integration to X because Elon owns X. And it's the only large language model that has a real-time feed into X. And there's so many real estate investors on there that post deals and stories. And so I was extracting what other people have done in this situation. Then what I went into is I pulled all of the law in Hernando County, the deals in Hernando County. Then I pulled a history of any time I asked AI to show me in the last 10 years any situation where this has happened and there's been a multifamily development with over 30 easements and what exactly they did. I reverse engineered every single thing that they did to solve the problem. By the end of the call, I called my broker. When the plane landed, I called my broker, I explained everything. I'm like, this is exactly what we have to do. This has happened many times. No big deal. They did this. They posted in the newspaper. They did this. We don't have to get signatures from everyone. It just so happened that the guy sitting next to me on the plane was in my keynote. Like he was coming to my keynote, which is crazy. He was in the front row. And he got up, he was like I was like halfway through the keynote, and he's like, I just have to stop you. I thought you were a real estate attorney. And I was like, why? He's on the plane, you were like rattling off all this case law and like you were rattling off all these things. I'm like, that is exactly what AI does. It makes sure is will AI lie and you have to challenge it. Of course, that's why I'm intuitive. I have critical thinking. I'm resourceful. So I know how to push it. But I got enough out of it to make myself in that moment near as good as the best real estate attorney in Hernando County. And my attorney said the same thing. She's like, this is incredible research. Like, you basically just did my entire job. I'm like, yeah, I did in 2 hours. And she would have charged me 20K for that. So I say that as an example. I still need my attorney. I'm not getting rid of her, trust me. But the fact that me, or if my virtual assistant or my operations manager was trained like this, they could have moved this needle so far along. And even just the anxiety of feeling like, oh, is this deal going to die? In 2 hours, I knew that the deal was totally alive, ready to go because of my AI fluency.
Yeah, that is incredible. Incredible. And I'm sure you have so many stories like that.
So
Not only
many.
dealing with like real estate, but dealing with just life in general. Like how so can you talk a little bit about, because I love the fact that you mentioned about using AI as a tool, and there's opportunity for user error, and you have to be intuitive, and it all comes down to how you use AI. So I know that there have been a lot of people who have been dumping on AI a little bit about creating content or whatever it is. Like they didn't like the output that they got back. Can you talk a little bit about what are the first few steps that someone has to take to become AI fluent on a level where they can truly get some significant output from AI, like you did
So
with
good.
this Hernando case?
So good. Okay, so AI fluency. So the first absolute must understand is how do you communicate properly? How do you speak AI's language? So the first thing we have to do, and this is why I love AI, AI actually forces humans to be really good at the skill sets that matter the most. So the first skill set you're going to hear me say probably 100 times is critical thinking. When you sit down to communicate with AI, we are in a process, right? We're in a belief system right now that answers should come fast, fast. I want answers to everything so fast. But the first thing we have to get really good at is stepping back and thinking about what our problem even is. Because a lot of times I'll find people will rush into AI and they'll start asking about case law in Hernando County. But what they do is they forget to explain what is your pain? What is your problem? What's the context? What do you actually want? What are you desiring? What are you feeling? What have you already tried? Hey, AI, can you interview me right now? I'm feeling really overwhelmed about this situation. This is a little bit of background, but can you interview me with 5 to 10 questions just to extract as much out of me as possible? Because I want you to help me navigate this situation. We are not stepping back. We're not slowing down. There's a reason why my program is called Automate to Accelerate. It's that slow down to speed up. You could sit there all day long and like eventually get there in a chat an hour later. I know we've all done this where we're like, no, not that, no, not that. Or we sit back and we actually think about our thinking. It's called metacognition. And it is very important across the board, whether you're thinking about why you were triggered or thinking about this actual situation and what you want. So, first thing is prompting. You have to be able to ask good questions. You have to be able to push. You have to be able to create good, challenging dialogue between you and AI. And I think the thing I love the most about what we do in our training is you get to see me do prompting in hundreds of different ways. And so just seeing me have conversations with AI is extremely helpful. Number two, the next part of AI fluency is knowing when we've gone from a one-time situation to, oh, wow, I have asked AI this over and over again. I need to build a system. And you'll hear me say the word AI project. That is a custom GPT, a Claude project. Gemini is Google's LLM. They have gems. It's all the same thing. There's a set of instructions and there's a knowledge base. And the purpose of this is instead of coming in to just create a chat and have a conversation, we can build a system that creates consistent output. So it's trained up on your backstory, your examples, your tone, your values. So many people complain to me, oh, AI doesn't sound like me. And I'll say to them, what do you sound like? And they're like, I don't really know. I don't really know what my voice is. I'm like, that seems really tough, doesn't it? Seems
Yeah.
real tough to try to get this thing to sound like you when you don't know who you are. And it's like this, a lot of what I'm teaching in AI truly comes back to this personal development work of like understanding who you authentically are. Even what is your business voice? What are your values? What do you stand for? So many land investors that come through our program, we have marketing is in the first few weeks using AI for marketing. And a lot of them have never documented their ideal client on the acquisition side, and they've never documented their ideal client on the sales side. So if you don't have your ideal client persona documented, there's no chance in hell that even the best copywriter in the world will be able to write for you. So it's back to the basics. And I say this because AI takes typically about 3 to 5 times longer than training a human being. But once you train the AI, it is infinite scale. And so back to fluency. We've got prompting, great question asking, being very critical, thinking about what you actually want, and then knowing when it's time to build a system instead of just wasting time doing the same chat over and over again.
You know what creatives crave but rarely find? A place where the craft, not the clout, comes first. Where one pause in a performance can mean more than 1,000 words. That's why the Effect Experience Group is our gathering space for artists, performers, and creative directors who design for goosebumps. Inside, it's artists telling their truth about their obsessions, moments pulled apart to show why they move us, and creative provocations that sharpen the edge of your own craft. This is a space for the ones who live to make people feel, the ones obsessed enough to know that a single breath held at the right time can change everything. Step into the circle at effectexperiencegroup.com. That's effectexperiencegroup.com. See you inside.
Yeah, that is so good. And I love the language that you use around that. You mentioned that it is a different language that you're learning to speak. It's about
Yeah.
communicating, it's about knowing what you want in order to be able to get what you want out of it, which is just brilliant. And I know that sounds super, super simple, but at the end of the day, gosh, it's true. It is so
Isn't
true.
it?
So let me ask you this question because I first want to say I've had the opportunity to go to several of your trainings, your AI trainings,
You're an
and
OG, Kendall. Every round.
I
I
tell you,
love
I
it.
am the most valuable thing. It's amazing that I get to hang with you and get to hear everyone's questions, but you touched on this earlier, the opportunity to watch you in real time prompt AI, especially when things don't go the way that we want them to go,
Yeah.
that has been probably like worth its weight in gold because
Mm,
getting to see that example of how do you communicate with AI? How do you, in real time, like how do you solve those problems? So I just want to give you some flowers there because that is absolutely 100% true. Watching you do that is just, you want to talk about a masterclass in metacognition. Now,
it
let
truly
me ask
is.
you
People are
this
like,
question.
metacognition. What are you talking about, metacognition? I'm like, people think this is AI training. It's really just personal development training wrapped with a AI wrapper because it makes you better
1,000%. Yeah,
overall.
absolutely. Absolutely. So I do want to ask you a couple of follow-up questions. So in talking about creating ChatGPT projects and that type of thing, now that we've seen this new feature roll out with ChatGPT that it can remember across all chats, how important is it to continue to create specific projects in
Mm.
chat since it can draw from all of these different chats that it's had with you in the past?
It's a great question. So ChatGPT has a memory. So does Claude. Claude just released their memory yesterday. And
Awesome.
it's beautiful. I love memory. I actually have a process now. I should send this to you that it's a quarterly update. So now every quarter I'm going through and I'm cleaning out my whole memory because it doesn't know what my active goals are. It doesn't know what's happening in my life. It doesn't know my greatest triggers and what I'm actively working on and who I am, who I'm trying to be, the updates, who my closest friends are. So that's amazing. I think of the memory as what do you need, like your general business coach to understand to call them at 2 a.m. and just to get some quick advice? Or what do you need your personal development coach, your mindset coach to know to be able to quickly feed you great information? So, of course, I want them to know I have all my goals in there. So I redo my goals each quarter and I have my goals. I have this is what's up. This is the latest. This is what I do. And then I also have some very specific information about my core beliefs. I have information about, I have my
Mhm.
power prompts in there. So, power prompts are things like, what am I missing that could change my decision? So, some really great prompts that are just ready to go. If you had to bet your reputation on one insight you gave me, what would it be? So, giving AI some understanding of, I want you to challenge me and I want you to think a little bit differently than the average AI. I have my core identity, my guiding values, my life vision and dreams, my future self, my current situation, my current finances, my relational context, my health and energetics, my daily operating system, my business model, my brand voice, my decision making, and then my voice and tone. Now, this is great for just general. It can help me on a whim. Now, first of all, memory is capped in ChatGPT. So you maybe saw that before, your memory's full. Let's talk about an example where I need more than that. And I don't want it to know everything. I actually want it to be so dialed on a specific thing. So let's give an example so I have a Claude project that acts as a sales assistant. For example, let's say you were building an acquisition sales assistant, and this is the world-class sales assistant for land, and it knows everything about communicating with sellers and what to say, what not to say. I don't want it to know anything about my goals and dreams. I don't want it to know anything about my health and my wellness. I'm using ChatGPT mostly as like my personal productivity mindset coach, Callan's coach. This sales assistant, its job is so specific. Its job I have one for my business. The project acts as a world-class sales assistant for the uncommon business. It supports prospective students by helping them clearly see the real-life value and outcomes of our AI programs using concrete examples and grounded results. In the back end of this, it has every survey that has ever come through. So over 1,000 survey results are on the back end of this with real live quotes and real live wins. It is also fully integrated with Notion, where every win that's ever come from a Slack channel has been routed into Notion. So we have a database of every win with the ROI of what came from that. So it is so specific about what it knows and what it does. All of that other stuff is just noise. So that is the importance of making sure when you have this project's job is when I put in an email from one of our clients that, hey, I'm a land investor. How could this program help me? Which we get all the time, or a DM. All my team has to do, they don't have to know anything about land investing. They just have to come into here and it will go and it'll find all the wins from land investors and create a succinct email response. And so does that make sense? That's its job. Create amazing responses to inbound emails.
That is remarkable. Remarkable. If you're listening to this and you're not getting so excited about the possibilities, check your pulse because there are just so many things. So let's jump over to a topic that a lot of people have beef with about using AI, and that is we know sometimes AI can hallucinate, right? So can you talk a little bit about what is that and how do you prevent that from happening? Because I think that a lot of people, their trust erodes a little bit whenever they're in their zone, they're prompting, and then they get something back and that is not even remotely accurate. I know this. So how do you mitigate that?
First of all, I secretly love that AI hallucinates because it separates the people that know what the hell they're doing from people that have no effing clue what they're doing.
Okay, that's good. I never thought about it like that.
It really is. Hallucination, by the way, is just a polite word for saying AI is straight up making something up. It's just making it up. It doesn't mean anything's broken. It means that and this is what OpenAI actually has come out and said, that it has a really hard time saying I don't know because it's trained so intensely on finding an answer for you. Wow. So it wants to tell you what's true, even if it's guessing. So first of all, let me just ground it. Again, we're going a little woo-woo on this, but this is what's happening. AI is a mirror and it is trained on making the user happy. So I equate this to, I'm going to give you guys an example. Let's say, Kendall, you were dating someone, you were speaking with a friend, and you're like, they're doing this, they're doing that. They are just so annoying. I should really break up with them. And what's your friend going to say? Oh, Kendall, no. Most of the time, your friend is just going to mirror back what you're saying. They're going to say, oh my God, they're in the energy of making fun of them and whatever, being gossipy about them. They're just going to mirror it back. They're like, you're totally right. What a great insight, Kendall. You're so right. You're so smart. You've heard chat do that. Wow, what a great question. I was asking the other day about grooming for my dogs, and they're like, Callan, what an insightful question. You're such a great dog mom. I'm like, oh my God. So we call that pandering. It's pandering to you. So yes, it's going to do that, and it's going to mirror what you are saying. So number one, you have to force it to show its work. So I am always saying, list all of the assumptions that you're making about the situation so that I can understand what you're assuming before you give my answer. Can you flag things that are unknown? Can you score your confidence in this answer from a scale of 0 to 100? Again, back to my Russian judge in the Cold War Olympics. Judge your own self when it came to this answer. I'll often say things like, if it says it's 60% confident, then okay, I'm saying double, triple check this. I'll often say things too, if you don't get this answer correct, or if you're leading me down the wrong path, I will lose my job. Like, me as the user, I will lose my job. And it's, oh my God. If you ask it to show its thought process, so before giving me the answer, I actually want you to slow down and show your thought process. That can actually help it get a better answer because it's having to prove its own work to get it. Feed it the context. Don't wing it. Upload, let's say you're working on something in a land deal. Upload the actual purchase agreement. Upload the actual past emails. Claude and ChatGPT have the ability to just connect directly into Gmail. Like, they can just it can connect directly in there. Give it the transcript of the call with the engineer and the surveyor when you were walking through the grocery store barely paying attention. Upload the title docs. Upload any documentation you have and say, hey, I'm trying to help you out here. Here's the context so far. Interview me with any gaps in understanding, and then let's move forward. So a lot of times it just doesn't have enough information. It wants to make you happy, so it wants to move fast. And then the last thing I'll say is to say things like, argue against yourself. Where could this be wrong? What evidence would prove the opposite result is true? And so this self-check will cut your hallucinations down by a lot.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so I know a lot of people that use AI to help strategize, right? To figure out what to do in a situation when they've never done that particular thing before. And so let's say someone's listening to this and they've used it very heavily to strategize, and they're hearing this and they're like, oh my gosh, what if I'm implementing a strategy that chat has hallucinated? Like, how can they go back and, after hearing this today, what can they do to double check and triple check that what chat has given them is accurate?
You know what we don't miss? Fixing title typos at midnight. Calling the seller's cousin again for one more signature. Wondering who dropped the ball this time. That's where Easy REI Closings comes in, our go-to transaction coordination service. You send the signed contract, they handle the messy middle. The next time the deal's on your mind is when you're cashing the check. And when you try them through starttc.com, we'll send you our smooth closing starter kit, a toolkit that makes you look like you've done 100 deals, even if you're on deal number 1. From a seller-friendly roadmap and contract walkthroughs to tracking tools and mini trainings, it's the exact setup we use to close confidently, without chasing signatures or second-guessing the process. Right now, you can get $1,000 off the setup fee when you sign up through our link. StartTC.com. Close smarter, sleep better.
First and foremost, I want to talk about AI and strategy first, because this is another back to the importance of knowing this is your job is to have AI do 90% of what you've been doing. Maybe not right now, but over the next 12 months, I'm telling my team that 90% of what they do needs to be taken over by AI. And that 10%, what's left, needs to be their sharpness, their critical thinking, their experience, their connection to others, their ability to have emotional intelligence, their ability to feel intuitively, is this the right choice? So first and foremost, when AI gives you a strategy, it's your job to run it through and pressure test it with your own intuitive lens. Does this feel right? Is this the right choice? How does it feel for you? I think a lot of people are taking ChatGPT's word, like the word of a pastor in church. Sorry to burst your bubble, guys. Pastors are humans. Like, they will say things that we don't necessarily agree with, and that's okay. You don't have to agree with your pastor every time they're up there preaching from the stand, even though they're up on the stage. So same kind of idea here is, first and foremost, I would never use AI as the end all be all. It is absolutely just a thought partner and just a co-creator with you. Second thing is, yeah, we can absolutely go back. And I think the next thing too is, once you've exercised the deeper steps of it, and maybe you've never used Perplexity and you've never used their deep research tool, that is if you're doing any sort of strategy and you need data, I would never make a decision without going into Perplexity and using deep research and understanding the data in the markets and what can it find. Maybe that's a next step. The next move too is asking chat, what human beings should you speak with in the next 24 hours that could add in even more understanding? Who are the experts here that I could go interview? Who are the experts that I could call? Can you do research in this area of Jacksonville, Florida? Who are the best land clearers? Who would understand how to do this? I feel like I could get more money if I did clear the land, but I have no idea what to do here. Who could I call? You make that phone call. You then ask chat, what questions should I ask them? Give me 10, 20 questions or 5 questions to ask when I get on the phone with this land clearing specialist. Then record that phone call, bring the transcript back into chat, and now we can continue on with the strategy. But I always say, let's pause and go find that deep expert somewhere. Maybe it's not AI, it's a real full-blown human being, especially in this world. But let's use that knowledge and then feed it back into AI to help us continue on with our strategic journey.
That is brilliant. I love that. I love that, especially because it's all about, it just goes back to that critical thinking piece, right? Don't just take it at face value. If you're going to be planning an entire business strategy on something, let's go.
This is your life. This is your, what chat told me to do it. No, but you did it. But you ended up doing it. I'm like, I think this is such fun. And especially with your team, your team, so much of our team are like, chat gave it to me. I don't get an F if the president gave it to you. I don't care. You chose to send it, and it's an absolutely terrible email. I don't give a blank where it came from. It's a C+ result. It's all about, we just come back again to, what is the output that you're creating? Is this piece of content the best content that your seller will see all day long? Will it make their day? Will they feel so overjoyed by getting this PDF handout from you? If those answers are no, then I don't care how you built it. It's the wrong thing. You built a crappy product. So just going back to like business 101, I think we get so caught up in, oh, AI this, AI that. I'm like, no, you just don't know how to create a great lead magnet. Sorry, you just don't know how to do that. You're trying to use AI to do it, but if you don't know how to do it, you're still going to be bad at it.
And if you don't know what a good one is, you don't know if you've made a good one. I think that is so,
there you go.
Yeah, I love the term that you use, co-creator. It's no secret that I have every single person in my team is fluent in AI. And one of the things that I learned very early on is that we do have to have this like safeguard system that they can double and triple check their work. So instead of just like grabbing something from AI and pasting it, because I was freaking out about, oh my gosh, what if we get a terrible piece of content? Like, what is that going to do to my brand? And I don't want to put garbage out. And so we actually used AI to create a checklist that's based on our pillars and our core values of the business for content. So they literally have to go back and, does this meet this pillar and in what way? And they literally have to write out the answer. It meets it in this way. And we've caught so many things that's, oh, that doesn't fly. It doesn't matter if we follow the SOP perfectly, we follow the prompt perfectly. It doesn't have the soul of what we're doing. So I think that's brilliant. So
like using AI to check AI.
Using AI to check AI, and more specifically to help us put the human component in that check process, which has been huge, huge. So talking about team, because that is so important. I've heard you've mentioned it since like second one of this episode. If someone's listening to this, what are the first steps? If they hear you say you need a team that's fluent in AI, you need a VA that's fluent in AI, how do you find one? How do you create one? How do you train one? What are the first steps to training a team member?
Hey there, Land fans. If you're enjoying this episode and would like to see more episodes like this, please be sure to let us know by liking and subscribing below.
Most of the time right now, as of September 2025, it's going to be create one, because a lot of them, don't exist. And it is wild how many, I do a lot of free master classes or low ticket experiences. And there's a lot of 9 to 5 W-2 folks that come in. They either are unemployed or they're looking for a job. And like, I've had a really hard time getting a job. And of course I'm like, hey, are you AI fluent? And they're like, no, duh, no one's hired. Get AI fluent and I guarantee you will get a job. I just had a woman who went through our $47 boot camp in the spring. She got a 50K raise in 4 months because of her AI prowess. Just the boot camp. She didn't even go through the 10-week full-blown experience. Just did, and she didn't even do the third session. Just did the first 2 sessions of the boot camp. So you have to train them. I don't care how you train them. You want them to watch YouTube videos and watch hundreds of hours YouTube videos? Fine. Obviously, that's why I built this company. I built the company to cut down the amount of time it takes to become AI fluent. We have a foundations program that's like the bare bones. That's like the first step. That is just the 3 to 4 hours. How do I write a prompt? What tool do I use? Do I use Perplexity? What's that for? What's Claude for? What's Chat for? How do I create a custom GPT? Even in that program, it's as simple as we build a meal planning custom GPT together so that we can cut meal planning time from 2 hours to 10 minutes. We train it all up. And that's point number 2 is your job as a leader is it starts at the top. If you are not using this regularly in your life to be a better parent, to be a better friend, to have a better thinking mind, to make decisions, to have better conversations, to prepare, to get data, to feel more strategic, there is no way in hell your team will ever use this. So if you want to try and skip it and just have your team use it, same thing, right? It's like everyone should be like journaling and meditating and working out. And if you're not, it's like your kids. Oh, I hope my kids love fitness and you are at home. It's like your kids aren't just going to magically understand how to do that. So it starts at the top. And then you have to teach them how to actually use it in their life, which feels a little counterintuitive. But if they don't understand how this helps them, and that's why I love starting with things like meal planning or things like preparing for a birthday party or Christmas or Thanksgiving. It's like everyone's doing this. Most women are doing the whole damn Thanksgiving by themselves and they're got all their scratch pads. And don't tell me that F's with their work productivity because they're doing all this in their life. So we have to start with going right at real life examples or business examples. And I call it the magic show. It's why I used to, when I was younger, I used to go in my back bedroom and practice my magic tricks and come out and do it for all the adults. And that is literally what I do for a living now when it comes to marketing. I am just doing magic shows because once you see the trick that resonates with you, once you see me take an Excel document and in 30 seconds, clean the whole thing up, remove duplicates, all this crap that our VAs are doing right now, and they're merging the direct skip with the land vision, and they're doing all this manually. ChatGPT can do that for you. Claude can do that for you if you set the right set of instructions. And I demo that, and in 15 seconds, the whole document's clean, merged, and given back to you. People's life change. And if no one's doing Excel work, they're like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Okay, next example. So it's like walking through a home when you're looking for a house. If you see the front room has this pink shaggy carpet and pink walls, it's like suddenly that house doesn't mean anything to you. But the moment you go to the back room and you see the reading room, so it's a 4-season porch and it's beautiful and it's surrounded by wildflowers, you're like, oh my God, this house is perfect for me. So that was a long-winded answer to you have to get them into training, but you have to start with yourself and make sure that they are using this in your life and then ask them to tell you how they're using it. Slack channel, I don't give a crap where that comes from. And then in their quarterly reviews, you're asking them about their AI usage. AI usage is a quarterly review metric. It's a KPI for every person in my organization. If they are not actively finding ways for AI to create efficiencies in our organization, they will not work for me. That is a non-negotiable.
That is so good. And it just comes back to what we were talking about earlier is that at the end of the day, this skill, you stress that it is a skill set that is based in critical thinking. So it doesn't matter what the vehicle is. It's if they're learning how to meal plan, that's a critical thinking skill because you're using AI to do that. So whether it's meal planning or figuring out easements or whatever it is, all the same skill set.
And that's it goes back to what am I actually hiring for? And what I'm hiring for now is almost the opposite of what I used to hire for now that AI is here. 5 years ago, I was looking for people who could do the work, the data entry, the texting back, the formatting, the research. Today, AI is doing 70 to 80% of that baseline execution faster, better, and significantly cheaper. So what are we hiring humans to do? Critical thinking. Can they step back, frame a problem clearly, and ask the right questions before diving in? Communication. Can they explain an idea in plain English? And I don't even care if they're doing, if they have another native language, they could do that in chat and then give it back to me in English. It doesn't have to be in English. Like, they could do all of their thinking in their native language. But can they explain an idea, give feedback, and then translate it between the AI and the human? Can they have that conversation? And then emotional intelligence. You have to have. This is where, if we think about what can the human do that the AI can't do? AI is getting better at this, but the human can feel a seller's fear. It can calm a teammate down. It can handle a really sensitive investor call. If we don't have people that can handle that and have working on their nervous system, that's why one of our values is inner work is the job. I need parasympathetic nervous systems. That's what I'm looking for. Then the last is the resourcefulness. What if AI doesn't spit out this perfect answer? Do they crumble and they say, oh my God, AI sucks, I don't like this? Or do they push and they test it and they get creative and they call an expert, they grab the transcript, bring it in, test something else, bring it over to Perplexity, ask their coworker, they get some feedback, maybe another land investor, they record the call, they bring it back in. That is the attitude that I need, that relentless resourcefulness and creativity.
That's a major shift right there, just in terms of in your business, what type of people are you hiring for? I think that is just critical in terms of how AI is changing the game. Because AI, I recently read an article where it's saying how AI is just really leveling the playing field when it comes to skill sets, because within just a matter of minutes, you can figure out how to do something you've never done before using AI. So it's no longer qualifications from a skill set perspective. It's all these other things that you're talking about.
No, there's not going to be like these long tenured careers anymore. There's not going to be like, obviously hands-on jobs and blue collar jobs, yes, but I don't think we're going to see, oh, I'm a data analyst and I'm going to do that for 25 years. Cody Sanchez, who's one of my mentors, just got rid of all of her data analysts, 150K a year jobs, and replaced it with the $200 a month Perplexity Lab subscription. Now she has an AI architect on staff, which is what I'm preaching to everybody. That's what we train. We train people to be AI architects. And they've trained Perplexity to think like that data analyst and act like them. And they've taken years and years of their frameworks and their IP to make Perplexity work. But my pushback is, if one of those data analysts came back to Cody and said, Cody, I have done the work. I've become an AI architect. And what I want to do actually is lead the AI and data product. I want to manage the AI. First of all, they would not be fired. Second of all, they'd be getting a raise. They would be getting more money than the K a year job is that baseline. I think people are so scared of AI. What they should be more scared of is not learning how to use this. Plus the genius and the experience they have. That's the magic sauce. It's not AI on its own. It's the AI plus the genius and the years of experience and the frameworks that work to do this data analysis work. And then the intuition and the emotional intelligence that AI just doesn't have.
Hey land fans, looking for your tribe of serious land investors? Join thousands of your fellow land lovers in the Only Land Fans Facebook group. We're talking real deals, expert strategies, and game-changing connections you won't find anywhere else. This isn't just another real estate group, this is the community where land investors come to level up. Join us at onlylandfansgroup.com and join the conversation today. That's onlylandfansgroup.com. See you there.
That is such a cool insight, because something that just clicked is the fact that AI is not just, oh, I'm going to turn on the switch and then now I've got AI in my company. You have to figure out how you work with AI. Again, coming back to that co-creator. Yeah, it's just so good. So for investors that are listening to this, and they might be thinking, all of this sounds fantastic. I can save time, yada, yada. This is good. But what truly is the value for a business owner to remove things and reclaim, like you mentioned, or like your bio mentions, the 10 plus hours a week? What is the benefit that you found of freeing up that mental space? How does that impact business owners in terms of how they show up in their businesses?
I think it's almost like a human behavior conversation too, that most people, especially in the United States, I think if we're looking at other countries, it's not this way. Most human beings spend their best brain cycles. So I'm going to call it, we have intracycles during the day where our brain can actually get into deep work. Typically, it's only about two 90-minute cycles per day. They spend that time on low value noise, wasting time away, answering texts, cleaning up spreadsheets, formatting the final offer, reviewing the same questions from their team over and over again. And it's not that those things don't matter. It's just that they don't require you. It's negligence, in my opinion. It's negligence to your soul's journey on this planet. Like, I want to shake people. I can barely walk through a coffee shop right now and watch people work on their computer. What the hell are you doing? You are in a Google Doc starting from scratch for a proposal. Oh my God. Like, we're just on this hamster wheel of spending every hour doing the same crap we've done over and over again. You should be finding your next $500,000 deal. You should be calling that funding partner and having the tough conversation and figuring out a way to work together. You should be building the JV relationships that double the pipeline. Yes, cool, I want to get 10 hours back, but are you actually stepping into the highest version of yourself that's acting in your zone of genius? What is your zone of genius? If you don't even know that, now you're on a journey to figure out what actually lights you up. I think about the things that I do. For example, when I'm running an AI magic show, they often go for 3 or 4 hours because I am so in my zone of genius. I have no other senses. I'm not thirsty. I don't have to go to the bathroom. I don't even know what time it is. I'm having so much fun. Love
It's
it. It's flow. It's flow
yeah.
state. You know it. You know when you're in it. I know times when you haven't been in it because you've told me. I hate
Yep.
this. And that's the whole thing. Like, we need to be optimizing for things that make us happy and joyful and fulfilled. And guess what? The money effing comes when you are in that state. It is, sure, some people might be like, oh, no, that's not how it works. Yes, you can make money doing a lot of things. But if you want to make money that actually serves the joy and the fulfillment in your life, do it doing it aligned with your soul's purpose on the planet.
So good. And just to drive the point home, it's not, I don't have to do the menial task. I'm getting 10 plus hours back and now I get to watch Netflix.
Yeah.
It's the opportunity to do bigger work, more deep work, those higher
Or
leverage
think,
things.
or go in the
Yes.
woods and think about your leadership and how you've been as a leader, and think about that call tomorrow morning. You do this daily stand up every day and you're just rolling through it. Are you bringing energy to them, or are you bringing exhaustion to them? What frequency are you bringing to that? What about how could you 10x this business? Are you thinking about it? Are you thinking about if your kids were kidnapped and the terrorists said you have to 10x your revenue in the next 6 months, and if you don't, you'll never see your kids again? I like the intensity. Some people, they're like, that's way too much. I personally like it if it forces me to think creatively of, what is my strategy? Do I like what I'm doing? Do I even want to 10x this business? Okay, if I really had to, what calls would I have to make? What would I have to do? It's like, again, thinking about your thinking. No one is taking any time to step back to think about how to grow their business, and they're expecting it to somehow magically scale. And they're sitting in this victim mindset. Oh, it's a bad market. We are going to triple our revenue in the last 12 months. A bad market is just a bad frame. You're just looking at, there are people that are making millions and hundreds of millions of dollars right now in this economy doing something that you're not doing. And that's what that extra time needs to be used for. Go to the networking meeting, go to the conference, sit at the bar, talk to the other people. What the hell are you doing? The difference between you and Ray Dalio and billions of dollars is literally just knowledge and then taking action on that knowledge. It's the only difference.
Couldn't have said it better myself. My gosh, so good, so good. So, Callan, tell us about your upcoming events. I know that you mentioned a $47 boot camp. I know you've got some events coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
I sure can. So we have a boot camp coming up. It starts on October 2nd, and it is called the Effortless Business Bootcamp. So think of this as my AI magic show for business leaders, business founders, people that operate inside of a business. This is where we're showing real life, sharing screen. I want you to show you the things for how is AI helping sales? How is AI helping marketing? How is AI helping me as a leader? Showing in real time. Seeing is believing. I'm taking the curtain off, showing behind the scenes of my business, my clients' businesses, what's working using AI right now. On the back end of that boot camp, I talk about and invite people into our 10-week AI course. That is the big kahuna. That is where we go from you not knowing anything to becoming an AI architect. That's a 10-week live training course. I think, Kendall, you've been in all 3 rounds of it so far. We're entering into
Oh
round
yeah.
4.
Oh yeah,
This
looking
time,
forward to it.
so I always tell people, I'm like, if you're not sure if you actually want to do, that's why the boot camp is, it's $47 until September 22nd, and then it jumps up to 97. So I'm not sure when this is going to come out. It's out now. So this is the live version. So get on that and then come and watch. And then last time we had 15% of the people in the boot camp were like, holy hell, I had no idea this was possible. How do I learn how to build this? And if that is speaking to you, then that's when you can come into the 10-week live training.
So good. You just mentioned that I've been on all of those boot camps, and I learn something new every time. And I will say from firsthand experience, it's not because I'm hearing it for the third time. I'm like, oh yeah, you are literally adding new material.
We have
So
hired a full-time curriculum developer and a world-class curriculum creator. So yeah, we're doing AI agents. We're doing way more automation AI this time. It changes every goddamn day. I log in there. I'm like, oh my God. All right, new thing, gotta learn it. So yeah, it's always updated, always fresh, always new.
I love that because there are so many new AI tools. There are newsletters devoted to here are the new AI tools for today, right? There's so many new things. And so I love that you're able to keep all of that updated as much as possible. So October 7th, our second
Second.
$47 camp. If you're interested in that, we have partnered on this. And so I'm actually going to throw in some bonuses. If you want to join the $47 boot camp until what is the date that it jumps up to 97?
September 22nd.
September 22nd, it will jump up to $97. But if you want to join that boot camp or the Effortless AI workshop, you can go to effortlessainow.com. That's my specific link, effortlessainow.com. We're throwing in some bonuses that are exclusive only to people that use that link. This is only for LAN fans that use effortlessainow.com. I'm going to be giving you a bonus Notion dashboard template. I'm going to be giving you
Whoa.
that dashboard template actually houses all of whatever you need in terms of prompts and ROI on those prompts and all of these use cases. So it's like a command center for your AI in your business. So that will be that Notion dashboard. I'm going to be doing a workshop that is free for people who use that link to actually learn how to use that Notion dashboard. So I'll be doing a free workshop on that. And then I'm also going to be giving you a prompt packet that of the top 4 prompts that I use in my business. And so I'll be sharing that with you guys. So you've got the Notion dashboard template that's just ready to plug and play. You just download it onto your Notion, ready to go. I'm going to be doing a walkthrough for that, walkthrough video for that, live, where you can ask questions, very interactive, and then finally that prompt pack. So you just have to go to Effortless AI now, and we'll get all of that set up for you. You do not want to miss this. And we joke about it. I've been there almost every single time that you've had it, and I
I know.
require my team to go. So it's that valuable. It's that valuable.
It's so much fun. It really is. It's like I have no holding back on selling it and just saying it's ridiculous that we've made it this inexpensive. And it is a bang for your freaking buck. And even if you're like, some people is she doing land investor demos? I'm like, land investors. That is the problem. You are not thinking like a business owner that is scaling a business. You are just like everyone else. We get so wrapped up in, is she going to be talking about comping? I'm like, oh my God. I can't. I literally can't. It's just so crazy. We're just so in this little world. Like I really urge you to start broadening the skill set and thinking of yourself as a business operator and a business scaler. And this might be your first business. You might start another business. You might have multiple businesses 5 years from now. I know, Kendall, you do. I do. It's like, this is not just our life for the rest of time. So that's my final plea, is think of yourself as someone who wants to be world-class in operations and world-class in sales and world-class in finance and world-class in marketing. You're not just a land investor that's doing well. You are so much more than that.
1,000%. And it comes back to that critical thinking piece, right? Like metacognition, learning how to think. Yeah. So good. So good. Callan, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, thank you for joining us again. Effortlessainow.com. You do not want to miss this. This is going to change your business. It's going to change your life. And I don't ever say that. I reserve those words. I use them very sparingly. This is an opportunity for me to do that. So definitely check it out. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Hey, land fans. Tired of sellers ghosting faster than your ex? Get ready. Our friend Ajay Sharma has created the ultimate program to transform your acquisition game. Land Closers Academy brings you weekly call reviews, a powerhouse community, and the proven system for turning leads into signed contracts. And check this out. Sign up now at olfclosers.com and you'll get my personal call review template that's crushing it with both my team and my coaching clients. This is the exact system we use to level up acquisition managers and consistently grow their closing skills. It's a game changer for managing your team. Ready to close more deals? Head to olfclosers.com and let's get you crushing it. Because the only thing getting ghosted should be your old closing rate. Boom.